Anxiety takes hold of us. It eats away at our peace, holds us back, and often feels like an inseparable companion in our lives. But have you ever wondered, what if anxiety is just an illusion? Today, we're diving into a fresh perspective on anxiety through the teachings of Carl Jung, one of the greatest minds in the history of psychology. Carl Jung, one of the most influential figures in modern psychology, revolutionized our understanding of the human mind. His theories, deeply rooted in the exploration of the unconscious, offer profound insights into the nature of anxiety. Jung didn't view anxiety as a fleeting or superficial emotion, but rather as a deeper reflection of inner conflict. According to him, anxiety arises when there is a disconnect from our true self, a dissonance between the person we think we should be and the person we deeply yearn to become. Jung believed that we are often caught in a struggle between our conscious mind, shaped by societal expectations, and our unconscious desires, which are more authentic but often suppressed. This tension creates a kind of internal chaos, a tug-of-war within our psyche that manifests as anxiety. The fear and unease we feel aren't just random or unprovoked. They are the result of a deeper, unresolved struggle between our outer reality and our inner truth. What makes Jung's perspective on anxiety particularly powerful is his idea that this internal conflict is not inherently negative. Rather, it serves as a call to integrate the different parts of ourselves. For Jung, the path to healing anxiety doesn't involve avoiding or suppressing these feelings, but embracing them as clues to a more authentic existence. By confronting this inner tension and reconciling the opposing forces within us, we can tap into our true potential and find a deeper sense of peace. This approach offers a profound shift in how we view anxiety, not as something to eliminate, but as a guide to self-awareness and personal growth. So, let's explore how we can apply Jung's wisdom to uncover the deeper sources of our anxiety and begin the journey toward inner harmony. The roots of anxiety often lie deeper than we realize. Carl Jung identified this phenomenon as the shadow, the hidden aspects of ourselves that we suppress or ignore, often because they conflict with how we want to see ourselves or how we believe we should behave. The shadow encompasses everything we deny or push away, yet it continues to influence us from the unconscious, creating inner turmoil that manifests as anxiety. Take, for instance, the fear of failure at work. On the surface, it seems straightforward. You're afraid of making mistakes, disappointing others, or falling short of expectations. But Jung would urge us to dig deeper. What if this fear isn't just about failure? What if it stems from a deeper, unacknowledged part of yourself? Perhaps your shadow harbors a desire for something entirely different: freedom, creativity, or even a complete change in direction. This shadow desire clashes with your conscious need to conform to societal or personal expectations, creating an internal conflict that fuels your anxiety. Jung believed that ignoring the shadow doesn't make it disappear. In fact, the more we repress it, the more powerfully it operates beneath the surface. This repressed energy often manifests as persistent fears, unease, or feelings of being stuck. But what's most intriguing is that the shadow isn't inherently negative. Within it lies untapped potential, creativity, and authenticity, qualities that can lead us to a more fulfilling life if we have the courage to confront and integrate them. Jung's perspective invites us to approach anxiety not as a problem to be fixed, but as a message to be understood. Anxiety can serve as a signal that something within us is out of alignment, a call to explore the parts of ourselves we've neglected. By bringing the shadow into the light of our awareness, we can uncover hidden desires and aspirations, resolving the inner conflict and transforming anxiety into a source of growth and self-discovery. So, the next time anxiety grips you, consider asking yourself, what part of me am I avoiding? What truth is my shadow trying to reveal? In answering these questions, you may find not only relief from anxiety, but a deeper connection to your authentic self. The path to overcoming anxiety, according to Carl Jung, lies in understanding and integrating the shadow, the hidden aspects of ourselves that we often reject or deny. Jung taught that the shadow is not an enemy to be vanquished but a vital part of who we are, holding the potential for profound growth and transformation. The key to reducing anxiety isn't to suppress or avoid these darker aspects of ourselves, but to face them, understand them, and ultimately embrace them as integral to our wholeness. Working with the shadow begins with self-awareness. It requires the courage to look inward and confront the parts of ourselves we've been conditioned to hide, whether they stem from shame, fear, guilt, or societal expectations. For example, you might uncover feelings of anger, jealousy, or an unfulfilled longing for freedom that you've buried because they don't align with the person you strive to be. These emotions, though uncomfortable, are not inherently bad. They are simply parts of your humanity waiting to be acknowledged. The process of shadow work involves asking difficult but transformative questions. What am I avoiding about myself? What emotions or desires make me uncomfortable, and why? What patterns of behavior might be linked to this hidden part of me? By answering these questions, you begin to map out the landscape of your shadow, giving it shape and definition rather than allowing it to operate in the dark. Acceptance is the next step. Jung emphasized that integration does not mean indulging every shadow impulse. It means recognizing these aspects of yourself without judgment and finding a way to harmonize them with your conscious identity. This could involve reframing what you've previously viewed as flaws into strengths or seeing the value in traits you've suppressed. For example, a desire for freedom might point to a need for creativity or autonomy in your life. Acknowledging this can help you make choices that align more authentically with your true self. Finally, integration is an ongoing journey, not a one-time event. It involves developing a relationship with your shadow over time, revisiting it as new challenges and anxieties arise. Practices like journaling, mindfulness, therapy, or even creative expression can be powerful tools in this process. By bringing the unconscious into the conscious, you begin to dissolve the inner conflict that fuels anxiety, replacing it with a sense of inner harmony and empowerment. Jung's teachings remind us that anxiety isn't an obstacle to be feared, but an opportunity to deepen our understanding of ourselves. By working with the shadow, we can transform what feels like an inner adversary into a profound source of insight and personal growth. In this way, the shadow becomes not just a challenge but a guide, leading us toward a richer, more authentic life. The illusion of control is one of the most pervasive drivers of anxiety, a theme Carl Jung explored with remarkable depth. At its core, anxiety often stems from our desperate attempt to exert control over the uncontrollable. We ruminate over what has not yet come to pass, envisioning countless scenarios and meticulously plotting how to navigate them. It's as though we believe that by worrying enough, we can shape the future to our will. Yet Jung reminds us of a profound truth. The future is inherently uncertain, and our attempts to dominate it are as futile as trying to grasp water in our hands. This need for control arises from our fear of the unknown, a natural human instinct. The mind craves certainty, stability, and predictability, yet life rarely provides these comforts. Anxiety is the byproduct of this clash between our yearning for certainty and the reality of life's inherent unpredictability. We try to bridge this gap by anticipating potential problems, preparing for every conceivable outcome, and creating an illusion of mastery over what lies ahead. But in doing so, we expend immense mental and emotional energy on events that may never come to pass. Jung would argue that this illusion of control is not just exhausting, it's also counterproductive. By fixating on the future, we lose touch with the present moment, the only reality we can truly influence. Our minds become trapped in a cycle of what-ifs, leaving us paralyzed by fear of hypothetical scenarios. Paradoxically, the more we try to control the future, the more we become controlled by our anxiety about it. Jung's teachings encourage us to confront this illusion head-on. He reminds us that uncertainty is not an enemy but a fundamental aspect of life. Rather than resisting it, we are called to embrace it, recognizing that the unknown holds not only potential risks but also endless possibilities. What we fear today may never materialize, and what we overlook in our anxious preoccupation may be the very opportunity we need to grow and thrive. The antidote to this illusion of control lies in surrender, not in the sense of giving up, but in accepting the limits of our influence. Surrendering to uncertainty means trusting that life will unfold as it is meant to, even if it doesn't align with our meticulously crafted plans. It's about finding balance, preparing for the future where we can, but releasing the need to micromanage every detail. Mindfulness and self-awareness are powerful tools in this process. By grounding ourselves in the present moment, we can break free from the mental spiral of what-ifs and reconnect with what is real and tangible. Jung believed that such practices help us shift from a place of fear to one of trust in ourselves, in the process of life, and in the idea that uncertainty is not something to be eradicated but embraced as a source of transformation. In the end, anxiety driven by the illusion of control is a reflection of our struggle with life's unpredictability. But as Jung so wisely teaches, it is in letting go of this struggle that we find freedom, not by controlling the future, but by accepting its mystery and learning to dance with the uncertainty it brings. Carl Jung introduced a profound concept that resonates deeply with those seeking meaning in life's chaos, the idea of synchronicity. He proposed that the universe is not random, but instead woven with purposeful connections that guide us along our journey. These meaningful coincidences, as Jung described them, occur when seemingly unrelated events align in a way that feels too purposeful to be mere chance. Synchronicity, he believed, is the universe's subtle way of communicating with us, offering reassurance that we are exactly where we need to be. Jung's theory of synchronicity challenges the purely mechanistic view of the world. It suggests that beyond the surface of ordinary life lies a deeper, interconnected web of meaning. These synchronistic events often occur at pivotal moments when we are grappling with decisions, searching for direction, or feeling lost in uncertainty. For example, you might meet someone by chance who provides exactly the advice or opportunity you need, or a book might unexpectedly fall into your hands with answers to the questions you've been silently asking. To dismiss these moments as mere coincidences would be to overlook their deeper significance. At its core, synchronicity invites us to trust in the unfolding of life, even when it feels unpredictable or challenging. Jung believed that these events are not just random occurrences, but markers that we are aligned with the greater flow of the universe. They remind us that there is a plan, one that may not always be visible to us, but is nonetheless guiding us toward growth, understanding, and fulfillment. This perspective offers a powerful antidote to anxiety. When we are consumed by fear of the unknown or feel the need to control every aspect of our lives, synchronicity gently nudges us to let go. It whispers, "Relax, you are on the right path." By recognizing these meaningful coincidences, we can shift from a mindset of resistance to one of trust, embracing the idea that life has a way of working itself out in ways we cannot always foresee. Jung also emphasized that synchronicity is not passive. It requires us to stay open, curious, and attuned to the subtle signs around us. When we cultivate awareness, we begin to notice patterns and connections that might otherwise go unnoticed. This heightened perception allows us to engage with the world more deeply, finding meaning in what might initially seem mundane. Furthermore, synchronicity challenges us to reflect on our inner state. Jung believed that the external events we encounter often mirror our internal processes. When we are aligned with our true selves, our desires, values, and purpose, the universe reflects that alignment back to us through synchronistic experiences. Conversely, when we resist our authentic path, we may find ourselves missing these cues or feeling stuck in a pattern of disconnection. Ultimately, Jung's concept of synchronicity offers not just a philosophical lens, but a practical guide for navigating life's uncertainties. It encourages us to embrace the unknown with faith, to look for the hidden messages in life's twists and turns, and to trust that the universe is conspiring in our favor. When we open ourselves to the possibility that the cosmos has a plan, we begin to see that every step, every challenge, every triumph, and every coincidence is part of a greater design, leading us toward our most authentic and fulfilled selves. At the heart of Carl Jung's teachings lies the concept of individuation, a lifelong process of becoming your truest, most authentic self. Unlike the pursuit of perfection, individuation is not about erasing flaws or striving for an idealized version of yourself. Instead, it is about embracing the entirety of who you are, your strengths, weaknesses, desires, fears, and even the parts of yourself you'd rather ignore. For Jung, individuation is the path to wholeness, and it is through this wholeness that we find liberation from anxiety and inner conflict. Jung saw the human psyche as a complex system composed of the conscious and unconscious mind, with both light and shadow aspects. Individuation is the process of bringing these elements into harmony, integrating the hidden parts of ourselves that we've denied or suppressed. This isn't an easy journey. It requires deep self-reflection, honesty, and courage. It involves confronting uncomfortable truths about ourselves, questioning societal norms that don't align with our values, and shedding the masks we wear to please others. But in doing so, we move closer to our core essence, the person we were always meant to be. One of the most liberating aspects of individuation is the realization that you don't need to fit into anyone else's mold. Jung believed that much of our anxiety stems from the tension between our authentic selves and the personas we adopt to meet external expectations. We feel pressured to be perfect, successful, or likable, often at the expense of our true desires and needs. This disconnect creates an internal struggle that manifests as anxiety, self-doubt, or a sense of being lost. Individuation, then, is an act of reclaiming your individuality. It's about acknowledging every part of yourself, the confident and the insecure, the ambitious and the vulnerable, and recognizing that they all have a place in your story. When you stop trying to conform to external ideals and start living in alignment with your inner truth, you release the pressure that fuels your anxiety. You come to understand that you are not broken or incomplete. You are a dynamic, evolving being, perfectly imperfect in every way. Living authentically also means embracing your unique purpose. Jung believed that each of us has a distinct role to play in the world, and individuation is the process of uncovering and fulfilling that role. This sense of purpose provides a deep well of meaning that counterbalances the uncertainties and challenges of life. When you are connected to your purpose, anxiety loses its grip because you are no longer adrift. You are anchored in a life that feels true to who you are. The process of individuation is not a destination but a journey, a continuous unfolding of self-discovery and growth. It involves daily practices of self-awareness, mindfulness, and compassion. It means forgiving yourself for past mistakes, celebrating your progress, and allowing yourself to evolve. Jung reminds us that we don't need to have everything figured out. We simply need to keep moving toward greater self-understanding. As you embark on this journey, you may find that anxiety doesn't vanish overnight, but it transforms. It becomes less of a hindrance and more of a guide, pointing you toward areas of your life that need attention, healing, or change. In living authentically, you cultivate a sense of inner peace and resilience that makes anxiety less overpowering. You realize that the key to freedom isn't perfection. It's the courage to be unapologetically yourself. And in that, as Jung would say, you discover not just relief from anxiety, but the joy and fulfillment of truly living. Practical ways to let go of anxiety, a guide to inner peace. Breaking free from anxiety often feels overwhelming, but Jung's teachings offer actionable steps to begin loosening its grip. Through small, intentional practices, you can reclaim your inner calm and reconnect with your true self. Below are deeper insights into practical approaches to letting go of anxiety, inspired by Jungian philosophy. 1. Work with your shadow. Jung emphasized the importance of understanding the hidden aspects of ourselves, the shadow. To start this process, take time to reflect on your anxieties. Write them down, one by one, and ask yourself, what lies beneath this worry? Is it a fear I've been avoiding, or perhaps an unfulfilled desire? For instance, if you're anxious about failing at work, your deeper fear might be tied to a desire for validation or a yearning for creative freedom. By uncovering these hidden truths, you can begin to address the root causes of your anxiety rather than its symptoms. This practice turns your anxiety into a teacher, guiding you toward greater self-awareness and emotional clarity. 2. Practice meditation and mindfulness. Meditation and mindfulness are powerful tools for managing anxiety, and they align closely with Jung's belief in the importance of self-reflection. Dedicate a few minutes each day to sit quietly and observe your thoughts without judgment. When an anxious thought arises, resist the urge to engage or analyze it. Instead, acknowledge it, let it pass, and gently bring your focus back to your breath or a calming mantra. This practice trains your mind to recognize anxiety without being consumed by it, creating a sense of detachment and control. Over time, mindfulness helps you become more present, reducing the hold that future-oriented worries have on your life. 3. Trust and synchronicity. Jung's concept of synchronicity teaches us that life is filled with meaningful coincidences, moments that feel too purposeful to be random. These events serve as subtle nudges from the universe, reminding us that we are not alone and that there is a greater plan at play. Start paying attention to these moments in your own life. Did you meet someone unexpectedly who offered advice you desperately needed? Did a song play at just the right time to shift your perspective? These instances are not just coincidences. They are signs of alignment, guiding you toward peace and clarity. Trusting in synchronicity allows you to let go of the need for control and embrace the flow of life. Live authentically. Anxiety often arises when there is a disconnect between who we are and who we think we need to be. Jung believed that living authentically, aligning your actions with your core values and desires, is the key to true fulfillment. Ask yourself, am I living in a way that feels true to me? Or am I compromising my authenticity to meet external expectations? When you begin to live in harmony with your inner truth, you create space for peace and purpose to flourish. Anxiety naturally diminishes when your outer life aligns with your inner values because there is no longer a gap to fill with worry or doubt. Take small, consistent steps. Letting go of anxiety is not about achieving a sudden transformation. It's about making small, consistent changes that accumulate over time. Start by integrating these practices into your daily routine. Dedicate 5 to 10 minutes each morning to journaling your fears and reflecting on the shadow aspects they may reveal. Set aside time each evening for mindfulness meditation, focusing on grounding yourself in the present moment. Keep a synchronicity journal to record and reflect on meaningful coincidences in your life, reinforcing your trust in the universe's guidance. Perform a weekly self-check-in to evaluate whether your actions align with your authentic values and adjust as needed. Embracing the journey. The journey to letting go of anxiety is not linear or easy, but it is profoundly transformative. Each step you take, whether it's facing your shadow, practicing mindfulness, trusting in synchronicity, or living authentically, brings you closer to inner peace. Remember, the goal is not perfection but progress. With time and dedication, you'll find that anxiety no longer controls you. Instead, it becomes a stepping stone to a deeper, more meaningful life. Jung taught us that anxiety is not a sign of care or responsibility, but rather a signal that something within your inner world is calling for attention. By facing these hidden aspects of yourself, you can free yourself from the grip of anxiety and step into a life of greater freedom and authenticity. Imagine for a moment, what would your life look like without the weight of anxiety? Picture yourself living with clarity, purpose, and peace. Take a deep breath. Release the need to control everything, and trust that, as Jung believed, the answers you seek are already within you. If you're ready to explore these powerful insights and transform your life, subscribe to our channel. Together, we'll dive deeper into the teachings of Carl Jung, uncover the keys to inner peace, and unlock the potential within you. Don't wait. Your journey to freedom starts here.